Next, connectivity. Like I said, a network works together. That ultimately we can try to design a network where everybody can have a one-seat ride to their destination, but that's not going to work. And in fact, if we can design a network based on connections, we can probably make each of those individual routes more reliable and more frequent. And so in Houston, for example, we used the construction of a new light rail line as an opportunity to redesign the entire bus network in that area. Those bus routes now run east-west. They connect you to light rail. If you are trying to get downtown, you have a fast path to do that with a transfer to a frequent and reliable mode. If you are going cross-town, your trip just got a whole lot better. To do that, though, we need good transfer hubs, which is another thing we tend to get distracted by. We all want to build Grand Central Station. We don't need Grand Central Station. We just need a fast walk from the bus to the train that is sheltered and that is safe. And getting those transfer points matters. This is Union Station in Denver. It is a beautiful project, one of the most attractive rail stations you will find in your life, and it is the hub for Denver's transit system. Here you can see a map of that. What you will notice is a lot of the rail lines are feeding right into Union Station right here. It is one of the best redevelopment projects I've seen in my life. It is one of the best placemaking projects I've seen in my life. There's only one big problem with it, which is it happens to be where people aren't trying to go. And so here you have a major transfer hub that's actually forcing a large number of riders to transfer to get to what they were trying to do. This is the equivalent of saying that every bus on the East Busway stops at Penn Station and you then have to get out and get on a circulator to get downtown. Connection should be something that makes a network more useful, not less. Here's Kansas City, a really good example of how to do that, a new streetcar line, one of the most successful in the United States. But what's interesting is you look at the relationship of that streetcar line to the bus network. It has multiple connection points. So for example, if you're on a bus route that goes only downtown, you can use this to get to Hallmark Center at the south end of it. And it is deliberately set up to have these connection points. BRT also has real opportunities here, things like the busway in Hartford, where you have multiple bus routes using the same busway branching out in different directions so that you make a lot of connections without making people transfer. But unlike the Pittsburgh busways, this one's clearly branded so that you know you are on a CT Fast Truck bus. And you have seen more and more metro areas really take the advantage to redesign their entire networks. This is Richmond, Virginia, a new BRT line that went along with redesigning all of the local bus routes to make them easier, more legible, and more frequent, and taking advantage of that to really make the local bus network more useful. That, to me, is what major capital projects should do. They should make the entire network more useful, not compromise parts of that network in order to feed into it. I think the busways here are an amazing piece of infrastructure. If you look at the ridership, they are among the top BRT in the country. And if you look at those branching routes, they really bring a lot of benefits to a lot of people. But Laura touched on this earlier. Connectivity isn't just about physical connectivity. Fares matter equally. Here we are in the suburbs of Philadelphia, seeing two trains run by the same transit agency, which are both headed right to downtown Philadelphia. One of them costs $3.50. The other one costs somewhere between $5.25 and $7, depending on the time of day. One of them takes cash token or TransPass. The other one takes cash or Trail Pass, which is not the same as TransPass. Again, run by the same transit agency. This is not good for riders. It means that there may be a mode that serves your trip better that you aren't taking because it's more expensive. It's also not good for the agency, since it means you're running redundant service. This is something like what the Philadelphia network looks like if you map out the cost of travel from Center City. Notice that this varies by which transit agency you're riding on, which mode you are riding on, and whether you are making a transfer or not. And I want to underline that point that Laura made earlier. Charging for transfers is one of the dumbest things transit agencies do. Across the industry, nearly every city has gotten rid of that and realized that there are huge benefits to riders, and there are huge benefits to how you can design a network from making transfers free. I have to say that the evolution of the BRT plan here is a really good example of how you can move to better connectivity. Going from this kind of insular, we have only these 3 route system, to a system which actually takes advantage of the busway to provide more direct trips to more people, takes those bus lanes and really leverages them for more routes, but also starts to realize that there's connections that can be made here. That right there at East Liberty, hey, this new branch of the BRT can also be a connection point to the busway. So if you are going to downtown rather than Oakland, maybe you can get off here and transfer. Again, if you make transfers free, you actually make the system more useful to people. You can make people's trips faster, and you can make it more efficient for the agency to operate.